Apparently.
What are you doing if you're not chilling?
Apparently.
What the fuck are you doing if you're not chilling?
What's good, homie?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yo, I'm just letting you know right now, 100% I've seen you before.
For sure.
100% I've seen you before. There's
That's
no way
crazy.
I haven't seen you. I bet.
man.
I'm going to just type in this address real quick that we're going to.
All good. Buckle up.
But real quick,
Safety first.
before we get into that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ayoo Chill podcast. We're back here, episode 3. I think we're into now season 5. Obviously, different hair, different glasses from the first 2 episodes. I'm trying something fucking new. So if y'all rock with it, that's lit. If y'all don't, fuck y'all.
Shit fire, bro.
That was gonna be for the rest of the year. I'm sticking with this. So we're wrong with it. My dude, please take a couple seconds, minutes, let the people know who you are and where you're from.
Nah, for sure, yo. It's your boy, ManMade. You know what I mean? Took the beats off a couple, months ago and shit. But, I'm ManMade. I'm from Patterson, New Jersey, Silk City, baby. You already know, man. I'm working in the industry right now. DJ Bobby Trans, stuff like that. But, I'm a music producer, engineer, graphic designer, edit videos, all that type of stuff, man. Got my own studio, too. So, later on, I could definitely plug that in as well.
Hell yeah, man. So we'll get into all that. We're going to drive to our first location real quick. Actually, the first location, not really only location, low-key.
Tough.
But yeah, dude, so talk to me a little bit, man, like what you do today. Like what you do, just is it day off? Were you doing anything today? Anything productive going on?
Shit, man. I mean, honestly, I don't have no days off, really. Like, for me, really, I got out the studio at like 3, 4 in the morning. So, like, I really take the day to rest during the morning, because like when people get active is after 12, after 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, you can say I rested today, but I worked all night. You know what I mean? Definitely.
Where I feel you. So why don't we get a little bit into your beginnings, just so when we get to the main part of the podcast, we can get into all the juicy stuff. Can you talk to me about, you said, I know you're from Patterson.
Yeah.
Right? So were you born in Patterson?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Sweet. So tell me how it was growing up here. How were like your early years of your life like?
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like here is like very diverse. You know what I mean? Having the background of Dominican and Puerto Rican definitely played to an advantage. But you know what I mean? It depends what region you live in, really. Like, you know what I mean? So for me, you know what I mean? I was always around, like, I was always in, like, the blacker communities. So like in my family, I'm really like a dark horse. Like I really stand out because I have that type of culture. And just where I grew up, you know what I mean? Where I grew up versus my cousins, they have a different taste in music, different taste in like lifestyle. You know what I mean? I just have a different outlook, or I have a different upbringing when it comes to that.
So what's crazy is that I know that you hold culture and heritage very deep into like what you do, and honestly, when I was checking out everything online, like you seem to put a big emphasis on that. Where does that come from?
So like that really comes from like one of my biggest influences musically, like, was my father. He had a lot of mixtapes that he put together. A lot of things that he put together were like merengue, salsa mixtapes and things like that. My dad was a big dancer too. He would dance in front of the camera for hours. So like, that was before social media, before all that, and like it's just that vibe, man, of how music makes you feel. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the Spanish culture, along with other cultures, they really invoke that emotion from you, like when you create that music.
So is your dad or your mom, like, who's the Puerto Rican, who's the Dominican? Are they both mixed?
So my dad's Puerto Rican and my mom is Dominican. So you know what I mean? My mom always talks crap. Oh, tú crees que tú eres bori? And then then you got my dad, like, he like, Dominicans. Like, you know what I mean? So they're both like talking shit on each other, but it's like it's all love at the end of the day. And you know what I mean? I rep both.
Yeah, of course, man. So tell me a little bit more about, like, so growing up around so many different cultures in Patterson. You know, I mean, when you talk about Patterson, you're talking about, you have like Little Lima, Little Bangladesh. I'm not really sure if they have any like tiny like Puerto Ricos or tiny Dominicans, but the culture is here, obviously. Like, what else have you been surrounded around like growing up?
Nah, so like the other thing too is like I feel like now Patterson is more populated with like the people that come from foreign places versus before. But like now, like what I guess growing up, I want to say, like there's definitely what you're saying though. Like there's a little Dominican Republic. Mm-hmm. There's definitely a Puerto Rican section. Puerto Rican people are like sporadic in Patterson though too. Like you have some on the west, you have some on the east. It just depends what region. The Dominicans too. I feel like for me, like every spot that I lived in Patterson, because there was multiple spots, it all offered a different experience. You know what I mean? So like my early life, it was all like the African American vibes, like, you know what I mean, like being around black people, black folks like that. That really opened my eyes and opened my arms to embrace that culture, you know what I mean? And like my sister's black too. So
Word.
So it's just like something that I always hold value with, and I definitely want to be in tune, right? And then I move from there and I go to a predominantly Jamaican area. You know what I mean? In 10th Ave. The thing is like there, they literally, I got introduced to all the reggae, all that stuff, like, you know what I mean? So it's different. And then after that, as I get to my older teenage years, I went to the Dominican Central, and it was Park Ave. Like that's where the Dominican Parade goes down. You know what I mean? Like that street itself. So,
and Dominican Parade is something like very legendary. Like I think like around like Patterson too. You know, I think Patterson really puts on for like the Latino heritage. But like, talk to me a little bit how it was seeing that parade then, like as a little kid.
Man, I don't know. Like it for me, like growing up in Patterson, it's such a small bubble. Mm-hmm. Like people don't understand that. Like, you know, we got Hudson County, Essex County. You guys can see the water, right? But us, we don't see the water. We see a big mountain, Garrett Mountain. Yeah. And like when you get out of Patterson, it's like a treat. Like it's like I used to go to New York and be like, wow, this is a whole nother world. Like it feels crazy. But like for Patterson, like I feel like seeing that the Dominican Parade happen, it really made me feel proud to be like Dominican. And they also have a Puerto Rican parade. But like the Dominican Parade, I was more in tune because I grew up with that side of the family. Yeah.
So then talk to me about how you first started getting into music. You said your dad made a lot of mixtapes, but what was it when you first started dabbling into the world of like making your own beats?
So like back in 2016, I have a best friend. I don't even call him best friend no more. He's like my brother. I've actually met him when I went to the Jamaican area of Patterson. He's another Dominican dude. He also makes beats. He used to be an artist. And you know, he one day, I remember he was like, yo, I think you should make beats for me. It just makes sense. Like instead of me going on YouTube trying to find beats or SoundCloud at that time. So I started making the beats. And it kind of was like a sickness. I caught it. Now like I learned to like have it, and I'm like, okay, I fell in love with it.
Do you remember the first DAW that you were using to make beats?
It's the only DAW I've ever used. FL Gang.
Yo!
FL Gang. You know
you still use FL to this day?
To this day. This day.
Yo, that's love right there, yo.
Nah, absolutely.
That's hella love right there, yo. Because I'll tell you what, I feel like when I started out in the music industry and everything, I felt like Fruit Loops was always like looked down upon.
Yeah.
But especially during like the past like 10 years, bro, a lot of that has changed. And I feel like so much of the stigma is gone, because when you look up like the hottest songs today and some of the things that have made it big, like it really doesn't matter your DAW at the end of your day, like it matters like your skill set. And
absolutely.
The fact that you were able to stick with something and then make it work and now like reach the levels of success that you are at now and keep it going, man, that's incredible, bro. That's
absolutely,
very incredible,
man.
So how was it those first couple of times like using FL? Like, did you find it hard? Like, what was going through your mind?
So actually, like what made it easier for me is like I'm a person that go get the information. Like if I don't have it, I don't understand something, especially if it's for the first time, I'm gonna go try to figure it out. Like, you know what I mean? That's just the type of person I am. Before knowing anything music, before becoming, you know, as talented as I am now. So like YouTube was a big resource, you know what I mean? And the producer that was actually teaching us as other producers, his audience, he ended up blowing up, you know what I mean? So he's a big producer now. He has hit songs out that you know, and you're probably like, damn, he created that. Yeah, I learned from that dude. Like, and it's crazy because that made it so much easier to kind of like find myself, but also follow those guidelines. Because it's like, okay, this dude is doing this, he's working in a team, and this is his structure. Let me see what I like to do, what things work for me, and then apply those tips, you know what I mean? Because it's not about copying people. It's about making your own sauce at the end of the day, for sure.
So why don't we move a little bit into then the high school years, because I know that you went to PCTI, and funny enough, PCTI, I think within like the past really like 10 years, I'd say, has really pumped out some crazy amounts of talent and honestly some up and coming stars in the industry. Did PCTI help shape you into the creative, into the artist that you are? Like, did they play any role into your making?
So actually, like, and PCTI, I really didn't dabble with music. Me starting music itself really was as an adult. I was like 20 years old, but a lot of the people that like you said, they came out of PCTI, they're artists, they're creating, and I love to see that. To see that. But you know, also PCTI is like the high school that you see on like movies, not the cringy, corny movies, but like the big like Spirit Days on Friday, like everybody's a big family, like of course it's the normal roasting in the morning, like
yeah.
You know what I mean? You got people out there like drug dealers with snacks, like you know what I mean? It's all the regular stuff, but like all with the added stuff. Like it's a bigger family compared to like a more local or public high school. You know what I mean? So PCTI really gave me that sense of thing. And then like even as a football player, I never really got consumed in the idea of being like a jock type of guy. So I was with every group. So even that amplified it more, you know what I mean? So going forward, even with the success that I do reach, all those people that I was cool with and still cool with, keep up with, it's a blessing to have their support for sure.
So I don't know if you're a drug dealer, but I do know that you used to sell snacks.
I just know the ins and outs of the business, man. I plead the fifth.
Talk to me about how you came up with the idea, because it seems like this really was your first intro into being an entrepreneur. And you talked about before in other interviews about how you would sell a lot of snacks and that you were making a decent amount of money. Like, where did the idea come from, and like how did you learn how to make it work?
So like it really is funny because you always start off as a customer, and what you're referring to is also like my boy that also shares entrepreneur like vision and stuff like that. So it's a lot of things me and him talk about, whether we're partnering or not, on business projects and stuff like that. But like when it came to like the snack stuff, it's really just knowing what's the demand, you know what I mean? And like there's always a right way to do things. Like obviously some people have no choice. They have to go down that route. They have to make meets end. They have to, you know what I mean, support their family, and I'm all for that. But at the end of the day, it's a hustling, man. It's a hustling mentality at the end of the day.
Definitely feel that, yo. Yeah. So you really started taking this seriously then when you were around like 20 then. So this is like after high school?
Yeah, after high school.
So I want to get into a little bit, and we'll kind of like halfway cut this off in between while we're setting up for the main shot. But I do want to talk about, so during high school, you said you were playing football, you were really involved with all this stuff, and you know PCTI is a great school to be involved with all that. But I'm really trying to think where in between getting out of high school and going into the military was music seriously considered as like a main career.
So like I started making beats in 2016, July 6th, the exact day. I exported my first beat. The name of the beat was Midnight Shots. And I remember, right? I hear it today, super trash, right? It always is like that, super trash. But for the time being, like it's a memorable moment and stuff like that. But to give you the quick and easy answer to that is like I was in the military, and not only did my friend tell me, yo, you should make beats. There was a bunch of people in the military that are super talented with music, and that are actually trying to be entrepreneurs. So it's like I kind of got the drive of that, and I started making beats, and then I ended up going on deployment. I missed a whole year of like American living. I went overseas, and I was still making beats out there, and going crazier. Or by the time I came back, all that built up excitement pushed me forward. I got back. I started like really running sessions at my house. I really started like trying to network, get with people, artists out there, and it was in Virginia Beach. You know what I mean? That's where I started my production career. But it wasn't really until 2 years in that it really got serious, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, that's around the time that my father passed away. You know what I mean? When he passed away, there was a promise that I never was able to complete to him until, you know, after, like you're looking into the future, but before he passed away, I mean. So when he passed away, it propelled me. And then like I started landing major placements. And then those things just started trickling, man, and I just never stopped. I never took my foot off the gas pedal.
So we'll hop into that. We'll hold that for when we get into our main part of the podcast.
Absolutely.
But what I do want to get into right before that is, so how long were you actually in the Navy for then?
I was in the Navy for 4 years.
For 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years.
All right, and 2016 is when you made your first beat.
Yeah.
What year did you graduate high school?
2014.
2014.
Class of 14. Both dogs.
Word. All right. So we not even that far. I'm class of 2016, so I'm just a little bit younger than you.
Oh, you went to Tech too?
I didn't go to Tech.
Oh,
I went to Passaic Valley High School.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm about to say you went to Tech too, huh? Oh, okay.
Sometimes I almost went to Tech, low key.
Yeah.
I almost went to Tech, but I stuck around in Little Falls, New Jersey, bro.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if there's any big regrets there, because what ended up getting me into music a lot was getting into marching band and all that stuff. But yeah, for sure. All right, real quick, we're going to cut this part of the podcast right now. We're going to start setting up for the main shot, and then we'll just go from there. Sounds good?
Let's get it, man. For sure. Yeah, like I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it. There's a funny moment I had. It's like not funny. It's kind of like morbid to be funny about it, but it's like crazy that happened.
Yeah, dude. Let's hop back where we hopped off. You just talked about losing your dad.
Yes, correct.
And so you said that you had made a promise to him that you couldn't really keep to him while he was still here. Can you just like reiterate what all that was about?
No, yeah. So you know how my dad, I told you before, my dad made mixtapes and stuff like that. He literally wanted to hear my stuff, but like as a collage, like, you know, like a basically make him a mixtape of my stuff. So like after he passed away, like right before, I would say like a year or two before COVID, and I really took the time to put together a project, you know, and kind of like tribute to him, you know what I mean? And I made the project themed on roots, like where you're from, you know, what influences you get where you're from. And I really put in that project, I named it Indigenous. I know that's a sticky situation to name a project that, but I really try to encompass what indigenous is defined, and in the dictionary is defined as your native place, your native land, where you're from, what makes up your people, wherever you're from, you know, from any nationality, part of the world, you know, any country, any part of the world that you're from. So I put that project together as a tribute to him, and I really went all out on that. Like, you know what I mean? I did interviews for that. I did actually a trailer for it. You know, and it's all like humble beginnings, you know what I mean? Humble beginnings, and you're not always going to get the things right the first time. I just really try to make it the best I could, because it was like kind of like my my final promise that I had to keep with my father. You know what I mean? So it's actually funny. We're at the location where I shot the trailer.
Word?
Yeah. So
Dude, that's mad ironic, dude. But
Yeah.
everything happens like that for a reason, I guess, right?
absolutely, yeah.
Hell
for
yeah,
sure.
man. So talk to me then a little bit. I feel like we didn't get to touch deep into, for the people who are listening, and especially are looking at you and being like, oh, that's what I want to do in my life. You talked about first starting studio sessions in your house, charging like $25 an hour. Like, when were you able to start making an actual living off of like making beats and quitting your job?
So like honestly, and this is really gonna give people insight. I actually quit my job. I've been doing. I'm gonna just give it a bigger picture first, and then you can understand. So this year I'll be 8 years in to my music career, and I quit my day job because I had a profession that transitioned out of the military. I just quit my job in September, this past year. I was doing both, but at a certain point, when music becomes the bigger load of work that you're doing, you really can't give 100% to both. You know what I mean? So it was a big battle of sleep. Sleep deprivation is real in this music. So like you gotta, it's hard to balance, but once you find that balance, you find that rhythm, and you start making that money. It also helps too that, you know what I mean, I was able to organize myself business wise, to obtain my own space to create, and I could bring the artists there, you know, develop artists, other producers, and also bring in, keep the lights on basically at the studio. That once I started becoming more comfortable with that, that's what made the transition easier to just leave my job, and knowing that now the hustle is real. You get what I'm saying? The hustle is real, and it's no longer about like, I really want this, I dream about this, I want to make it. No, it's, I got to do it. Like, that's the difference.
Yeah, dude, I definitely feel that, especially like now with everything I'm doing for the podcast, and this year's kind of like the make or break for me too. 'Cause
Absolutely.
after this year, the money dries up, and it's like, damn, like I quit my job about like my full-time job. I quit about like almost 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
And then since then, I've been just doing bullshit on the side, like mowing lawns, painting houses, doing whatever I can to, like, you know, just keep the bills paid and stuff.
Whatever job gets the job done.
Hell yeah,
like,
bro.
You know what I mean? So it's like that. Like,
And low key, when you were talking about selling candy, I was like, yo, kind of sounds like a
you
good
gotta hustle.
Sounds like a good hustle, dude.
You have to hustle. Like, you have to hustle. Like, you think that just because you're nice, or just because you know a lot of people, that you're gonna make it somewhere. Nah, you gotta put them boots on the ground. Like, you gotta grind for sure.
So, I know that you had a kid, and where does starting your family fall in between this journey?
Okay, so it's gonna sound very redundant, but the people watching that relate to this, that has that parent that they look up to, that really is their hero. Like, you know what I mean? I love both my parents. You know what I mean? They did the best that they could for what they had, right? So yeah, no, like my dad, when he passed away, it's just the upbringing, right? The upbringing, the value, the weight that I hold on his name. He really gave me a sense of like that father and son, right? And I really feel like when he left this earth, physically, I felt like I needed to really, like, it woke up the father in me, right? And I really felt like I wanted to be a father, you know what I mean? And obviously there's a lot of technicalities that come with that, because I can't just and make a baby, right? So like, it just happens to be that like the person I was with at that time, and still am with, right? I literally made the decision to like bring it up to them, because they were finishing up school, they had their career in mind, and I also had my stuff in mind too, and I just kind of like, when you keep it real, and when you like really discuss out your like what you want, you know what I mean, it'll be less of a trouble. So long story short, we discussed it, you know what I mean, we made reasonable decisions, and you know what I mean, I ended up having a kid. And I want to say lucky enough, because as long as God blesses you with a healthy child, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, that's what's important, I ended up getting a son. So it's like my dad reincarnated. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's my dad, me, and like he's just such a character. And you know what I mean, to the people watching this, if you do end up running into my Instagram, you'll see a little bit of his character, for sure.
Word. And you know, it's wild. You're not one of like you're not the first person I've had on the podcast that has had a child, and I feel like very young, you know. And I was just out with my friend yesterday, and we were talking about this because she was telling me, she's like, I don't want to have kids till I'm 30. She's like, I feel like I'm so young, da 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 da. And I'm looking at her, and
that's crazy.
I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, that's what, because she's 22, so I get it at like right now, right?
Yeah.
But it's so weird. Something changed in between when I was like 22 and now I'm 26, and so something had changed within my mind where I'm like, yo, if I accidentally got like my girl pregnant or something like that, I feel like I'd probably be like, I don't know. I honestly don't know what I would do in the moment, because my family right now, even like they're not pushing me to have kids, but my sister has a kid. She wants to have her second one the next year.
Yeah.
My cousin started having kids and stuff, and I'm over here like, I'm like, yo, I'm still trying to figure it out, fellas. Like,
yeah,
like, but I love it too, because one of my friends, he's actually the podcast right before this one. His name is AK40 Devin. He had a kid, and it was funny because he talks about how important it is for him to be a great father, and how he didn't have the best father, and how he just wants to be that like light in his kid's life. And he talks a lot about how his son is one of the main reasons why he does what he does today, and actually what pushed him and propelled him into the success that he's in now. Can you touch upon that? Can you relate at all?
Absolutely. I feel like it's slightly different for me, right? I had my father present, well, though never living with me. So all of his advances to actually like be there for me, you know, when my mom didn't give him a chance to, you know what I mean, showed me that if I have a kid, there's nothing in this world that could stop me from being the best father I could be. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day too, is like, when it comes to kid, I want to touch on the also what you said about being young and having kids, right? I honestly think it should happen that way, because I had the experience that my parents were too old, so I couldn't experience my mom coming to practice. I couldn't experience my mom or my dad helping me with homework. Like, I had to do all of that. You know what I mean? So it's like, being that I could tell my son, yo, come on, man, pick up your football pads. Let's go practice. Yo, it's springtime. Let's start getting ready for sports. And I'm young, too, still. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be 42, 41, and my kid's going to be 18. You know what I mean? I actually want to – I have the opposite goal. I didn't want to say I don't want kids till I'm 30. I want to stop having kids at 30.
Damn, yeah.
Because I don't want to be old and raising kids. And then, like, I want to be young enough that I could go have, like, my son's 21st birthday, we're going to go turn up. Like, I already have that in mind. Like, you know what I mean? So it's, like, looking forward to those experiences that I wasn't able to take advantage of, being that my parents were already starting at the age of when I was born. They were older.
Word. So talk to me a little bit then about, like, the work-life balance between, like, raising a kid and doing what you do. And then you said you just quit your other, like, job recently. How do you balance all that out and still, like, make a big impact on the industry?
It made it easier, because being tired is not fun. And being at wit's end is not fun. Like, you know what a migraine is? You know what I mean? So, like, the thing is, I can't get enough of the studio. I'll be in a studio in New York. I'll be there till 7 in the morning. I got to be at work at 8:30. Like, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's even gotten to the point where I literally leave the studio, go home, shower, and get ready for work. And to not be late for work, because that's another problem too, being punctual for work when you've been out all night, right? Because it's not partying. Like, a lot of people get the stigma of producers or DJs are always out. They're in the party, yeah, but it's work. right? At the end of the day, it's work. And sometimes that work it turns into like networking. You have side conversations, you know what I mean? Future stuff. You're planning future stuff. So the balance for that is like, now that I left my job, I feel like I can get the rest I need. I could be fully charged for the music. You know what I mean? I'm running my business. I'm building the business step by step. And once the clientele starts spinning, and they keep spinning and spinning the block on the business, you know what I mean? You build that loyalty, you give that value. It becomes all easier, man. And then like even at that, having a schedule, an inner family schedule, with my kid is not like, oh, like you should have your kid every day. I wish that could be a thing now, but my mode is I want my kid to be good for his life and his kids' life, his kids, and their kids. You know what I mean? So if I have to sacrifice the time now and be there the most I can when I can, then I know that he's gonna appreciate it later down the road, because he's like, damn, my pops really bust his ass, and that's how I felt about my dad. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not like I'm trying to emulate my father, but I'm trying to take, like, same thing I told you before about producing and learning and taking the sauce and moving it forward. I feel like I learned so much from my dad that I want to do what he did, but amplify it. You know what I mean?
I think that's very beautifully said, man. I mean, I don't think it could be like put any better way. And I really respect and commend you for that, because
Absolutely.
man, I could think about like my dad and how I was like, my dad's an incredible person. He wasn't the best father, but you know, he's still around. And you know, I think about like even now, like how much like work I put into stuff now, editing, doing stuff like this, and like it doesn't compute. It doesn't compute yet to me how my kid is gonna fit into this, right?
Yeah.
But hearing you and hearing all the other people I've interviewed too who have kids, man, is really inspiring. So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. He's really involved too, by the way. I'm not like to cut you off, but my son is really involved with the music stuff. He loves music. He hums music. Like, I used to do this thing. This is a little side bit. I did this thing when he was a toddler or younger. I'm say like 1-2 years old. Every time I pick him up from the babysitter, every day of the week was a different music playlist. So I put him onto Elvis. I put him onto Michael Jackson. I put him onto, you know what I mean, the Beyonce, the Whitney Houston, the Sade, you know what I mean? I gave him everything. Like, and now his new thing, because Christmas just passed, you know what I mean, a couple months ago, he loved that Gucci Mane. I don't know, he's like, yo, pop, he's like, Daddy, put on that Gucci Mane for me, like, again through, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's cool because now he's gaining his own taste at a young age. He's playing the piano in the air. He's being, and I'm not forcing it on him. He loves it. He loves my music. He's my biggest fan and my biggest motivation, my inspiration. Like, there's nothing that he can do that will make me feel like, damn, should I really had this kid? Because everything has been positive. Everything has been pushing me forward. And if anything, makes me go a million times harder. Because there's somebody counting on me.
Hell yeah, man.
Feel me?
So talk to me then a little bit. Let's take it back a little bit, or maybe it's around the same area. You know, it's one thing to be making beats for a bunch of different artists, especially being in Patterson. You have a plethora of artists and people who are trying to make it out here. When was your first kind of taste into like notoriety and like making something that you were proud of?
So I think, and it's all encompassing 2018, the 2 years into my production career. I had a friend of mine that was from high school, and basically he put me on to his boy. His boy was a producer that just finished getting, you know, 2-3 time platinums, record plaques with Fetty Wap. So I met him. I played him my beats. He saw something in me, you know what I mean? At that time, I was building up and I was already driving, like, forward. But now we just started working. I started networking. The people I met through him, he brought me around people, and then I would bring people that I know around each other, and then, like, things just started building, and I ended up being in the studio with Fetty Wap. You know what I mean? They hit me up, yo, session with Wap, pull up. I remember I was in the barber chair, almost damn near messed up my hairline. Like, I was like, oh, I bet, woo, I'll be there, woo. And then, like, we get there, and it's crazy because I want to mention this because I give people their flowers, right? In that session, right, one of the most talented audio engineers from this area, he now lives in LA. I want to give my boy Pat his flowers. Feel me? Mixed by the best. He was the first person to record Fetty Wap on a ManMade beat. Like, so I'll never forget that when that happened. I remember, I'm a big football fan, by the way. I skipped my team's game.
Damn.
Yeah.
Which team, by the way? Just real quick.
Chargers.
All right.
I'm a Chargers fan. People gonna be like, what? You from Jersey? I don't care, man. Boat gang.
It's okay, dude. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Nah, they cool. I don't got beef with the Dolphins, man. I don't got beef with the
Word.
Dolphins.
So, dude, there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
And number one, also, shout out to Pat. I actually never met Pat in person,
Yeah.
but we'll get into 934 and everything. And
It's a great individual, man.
hell yeah, man. I never got the chance to meet him, but funny enough, he started following the podcast in the earlier days, like when I was just trying to figure it out. So it'll be dope when he sees this finally.
Nah, absolutely. Dude is a genuine dude, man, for real. Like, I mean, we'll break that more down.
Word. So
For sure.
talk to me, what's going through your mind? I know you said like you were very excited and you almost like messed up your hairline and stuff, but what's going through your mind? Like, how do you prep to now go into the studio with Fetty Wap, who's arguably the most legendary music artist to come out of Patterson ever?
Like, I think, you know what it was? Like, I like, you know how they say play chess, not checkers? I was kind of bracing for that moment, but when it finally came, I'm like, oh shit, okay. All right, what beats I got? All right, boom. I know he sings. I know he could rap. And we're going to the studio, and I know who works there. You know what I mean? So it's not a lot, and we're not going to someone's back room in their house. Like, you know what I mean? So I picked a beat actually 12 hours before, because they called me. I'm gonna say they called me like a good time before it was about to happen. So about 12 hours before, I had picked the beat out already. It was like, yo, is this beat or no beats? Like, you know what I mean? But I had other beats, of course. I had other beats, but I was like, yo, this one I really hear him on. And it was like, you know, that melodic, bouncy, like romantic love type of thing. And then it's just like the rest of it is just putting your game face on, man, and just being, you know, respectful, being genuine, and like not showing up ever with an ego. Like, no, anywhere you go, it don't matter what you've accomplished, really.
Yeah, and it's interesting to hear that, because I feel like ego is one of the biggest things that people have a difficult time dealing with in the industry.
Yeah.
And especially like you're talking about that this is 2 years into your journey.
Yes, 2 years.
That's like pretty freaking insane, dude.
Yeah.
That's like very, 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 very early in somebody's career to then have that kind of opportunity. Like, I think there's some people who've been in the game for like 8-10 years and they don't even like get the chance to work with somebody even like half as big as Fetty Wap, you know?
Absolutely.
For sure. So like who do you accredit learning that kind of like mentality, getting into it? Because I'm just gonna elaborate a little bit on it. It's really difficult when you're starting out to realize that everybody's human. That everybody's just a person living their life, and art is something that we all have in common that we could share and make into great things.
Yeah.
But it's also like, dude, I don't know what it is, but somebody gets like 10,000 streams on Spotify, and then all of a sudden they're like, yo, I'm the biggest fucking artist ever. I'm the best there ever is. And it's so funny. Like, I can't tell you how many people I've interviewed on like the show interviews where I record like multiple 40 people at a time.
Yeah.
Right? And they come in and I'm like, they're like, I'm the best ever. You'll never find anybody else like me. Matter of fact, you're lucky that I even sat here to talk to you. And I'm just there like, all right, sir. Well, we're going to look at your Instagram right now. All right, 30 followers. I mean, not that it fucking matters, but
Yeah, like
one stream, 0 monthly listeners. You don't need to listen to your own music, apparently.
I think that shit lame. I'm gonna lie, that shit lame. Man.
Hell yeah.
For me, it's lame. right? Because, and I'm gonna answer your question too about really who put me onto that. So like, there's obviously in a process in the story of where you get right, especially with meeting Fetty. As I give him the flowers and free him, free Fetty, man. You already know.
Oh yeah,
Big
free
zoo,
Fetty, man.
big zoo. You heard? But nah, like, I feel like he was the one. Meeting him that early was the benefit of that because Fetty accomplished so much. You know that you're talking about a diamond artist, right? He literally has done so much, but in the studio he's so human. Like we connect so well, it clicked automatically. You know what I mean? And fun fact, me and Fetty are birthday twins.
Oh, that's lit.
We got the same birthday. So 679. Every time it come on, I turn up because it's my birthday song too.
Oh yeah, yo. Oh yeah.
But yeah, he made it. You know what it is when you meet a celebrity, and I know that people in Patterson are gonna see this. But well, we always see Fetty when he out here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see Fetty, but you see Fetty in the streets or whatever he's doing, whatever he's with family, whatever. But in the studio, the person I experience is a goofy, like energetic person, like that's hungry and like he don't care who's in the room as long as work is getting done, and he really empowers you creatively. You know what I mean? So I feel like he broke that industry seal for me. That's like, all right, I've been with Fetty. You know what I mean? The other dudes I know there's gonna be egos out there, but I've been with Fetty, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if Fetty don't have that crazy ego in the studio, and I kind of just emulate that same cool flow, it's everything else should come easy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So talk to me then a little bit about the session. What do you feel you offer differently than all the other producers that he's worked with?
Honestly, I don't know. I came with a different sound. I feel like I came with a different sound that actually turned out to become like what other producers started to like do for him, right? And I wouldn't say particularly that now they all started copying me. I don't say that. I'm going to put that and clear that out in the air. But what I did do is give a different side of Fetty, or bring back that melodic side of Fetty. Because he was doing a lot of like trap and B, a lot of rap, you know what I mean? And me and him have a lot in the vault for sure, like stuff that's not released. And I've even taken experimental risks with him. And those records are also in the tuck. So like, you know what I mean? I could go on for days telling you how many songs we have, like, you know, but what's important is that in a way I grew, and in a way I feel like he opened that door to help me create with him. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's always the two-way street you want to have, artist to producer, for sure.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you can remember from the session that either kind of caught your eye or memory, where you're just like, maybe it didn't have to do with music, but maybe it just had to do with more of like being a person?
So yeah, like I guess it's like sitting back, like once you're beat, like when you, the most powerful word you want to hear in the studio is loaded up. When you hear loaded up, you know it's time. Like, okay. So you just sit back and you just kind of relish. Now you're relishing in the moment, like, oh shit, I got a song with Fetty Wap. Like, oh shit, right? And it's okay to have that reaction in your head. You got to keep it cool. You know what I mean? It's not about being cool and having the ego. It's about like understanding the room, right? And he jumped on my beat. I start hearing him, you know, they always scat in the beginning. And then he goes on there, you know what I mean? And then he started rapping. I was like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? Oh, shit. And what makes it even more important is that the dude that told me to make beats was also in that room. And he got a song with Fetty that day, too.
That's lit, yo.
You know what I mean? That's my brother. Absolutely.
So that was your first real kind of dive into like notoriety and like success. I guess your first big like successful work with an artist like that.
Yeah.
Is there any other Patterson artists that you can name off the top of your head that you really enjoy or that you work with that you just like, you know, want to shout out real quick?
No, absolutely, man. I'm gonna shout out my people, man. Like, there's people that I've worked with but I didn't work with, that I just fuck with their music and shit like that. Like, I got my boy Thump, you know what I mean? He's from Patterson, super talented, melodic. You know what I mean? He's doing his thing over there with, his management and Eminence Records and stuff like that. So those are my peoples. I'm always cool and close with them. Hard Luck is another dude. You know what I mean? He's been around for a while, and, big respect, big flowers to him. Another dude, too, from the south side of Patterson, A Pressure. You know what I mean? It's all people that I genuinely fuck with, and like I've pulled up to stuff even if it doesn't have to do with me. Like I just pull up and show love, you know what I mean? On the Spanish tip, I have a couple artists too in Patterson that I've worked with. You got Vasquez La Pesa, arguably, in my opinion, one of the best Spanish trap artists on the Eastern Seaboard. You know what I mean? Besides Puerto Rico, and you get what I mean,
Yeah,
right?
I get you.
And then like he's just super talented, and you know what I mean. It's only a matter of time. I have this girl named Leslie. It's funny because we kind of went to school together, and like you know what I mean. We got some collaborations in and stuff like that. Winter break also, you know what I mean. That dude, we shared a football field together, so it's different. Like you know what I mean. So we got stuff in the works too. One of his main producers is actually my cousin. So Maverick is my cousin.
Shout out Mav, yo.
Yes, Big Mav too.
I
you know what I mean?
haven't got the chance to really like sit down with him yet. We've been in the same room a lot of the times before. Winter break is also like my brother, man. I love that kid, and that's how we got put on together.
Yeah, Winter break,
crazy.
man.
Hell yeah, bro. I knew him back when he was a XL.
Yeah, facts.
Actually, do you remember the first time you met Winter break?
Absolutely. He came to try out on the field, and we were laughing because he was freshman.
Word. That's funny.
Freshman ass nigga. But it's funny because like, you look back at the high school shit too, and like not to crazy dive into it, but it's like that's just the first thing remembering. Like, oh, this dude play running back. He playing linebacker, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
and now we all rappers and producers.
Now we all doing music. Like our knees cracking. We ain't really trying to get up and play sports. I mean, but even though I still do. But,
Hell yeah.
I don't know.
So I stopped you there for a bit. You left off with Maverick talking about. Is there any other artists that come into mind?
Yeah. Off the top of my head, because I'm trying to think about people that I know. Right. There's a new artist actually that I just started working with. I think she has a lot of potential, so I feel like I should give her flowers. Her name is Naughty Pezzo. This girl's gonna be special, and I am blessed to actually be at the beginning of her process, because it's like she's getting gems from the start. You know what I mean? And usually when you do that, it becomes like you know what I mean. It's a long run thing. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh yeah, I got hot beats. Let me send you beats and see what you do with them, like, and send me whatever you do. Like, nah. You know what I mean? She comes, books sessions, and you know what I mean, actually locks in, and that's what I love. I love to lock in with my artist. You know what I mean? Because it's an art. It's not just like, let's make some hot shit. Let's make the club jump. Like boom, boom. Like that's part of it. But let's paint this canvas. Like, you know what I mean? Let's figure this out. Like, let's do it the right way.
Word. Word, yeah, dude. I want to get into a little bit Jersey culture, where we're at right now.
Yeah.
I feel like we're in a huge precipice, or maybe in the middle of the biggest rise in Jersey history since really the beginning of hip hop.
Absolutely.
Really. I'll start it off with this. Simple question. Is there love in Jersey?
I feel like there is love, but it's in clusters. And, I really feel like Jersey needs to, in order for Jersey to become what I like to say, Jersey strong, right? I really empower the Jersey movement, putting it all together. People really need to get out of their clusters and really just join the clusters together. Because at the end of the day, it's like, I feel like it's still very much a crab in the bucket mentality here. Like, who am I better than? Who's the king of what? Who did it first? Who does it the best? You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I've never had that quote unquote distraction. You know what I mean? I never had that distraction. Like, I just did me. Like, you know what I mean? And I made sure that I do the best version of me, right? And that's what's important to me. So I feel like if that culture could be spread out, and just having that core group of people, no matter where you're from Jersey, you could be from fucking Lake Capacan, you could be from fucking West Milford, you could be from Alpine, whatever it is, or you could be like, you know what I mean, I'm thinking random cities, Tom's River, like, you know, whatever. It's not important about where you come from or who you mess with. It's all about you talented, let's work together. You work well together with other people. You know how to put people together. You know how to work in a group. You know how to work as a team. And when you have that team, things just come a lot easier.
So how do you think we achieve that, though? How do you think we achieve uniting all the different sects of Jersey, like Jersey City, Patterson, shit, Camden, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think is going to be the thing that brings us together?
Honestly, it's hard to say because I feel like everybody has like where they're from. They're proud from where they're from. Like you see how I'm proud I'm from Patterson, but I would be here lying if I said I didn't get some influence on my music from Newark, obviously, and some influence on my music from different parts of Jersey. You know, Hudson County, all that stuff, and like I feel like what remedy, right? Because you know what a remedy is. It helps the problem. It doesn't solve the problem. But what would help the problem, I think, would be more togetherness kind of events. You know what I mean? An event where everybody could come and support an artist, someone that wants to put out a show, whether they do anything, comedy, whatever it is. But it's just like a pop-up, like kind of like more pop-ups, more togetherness, more like collaborative networking events. And I feel like if you allow people to shine and spread the love, it's about spreading the love, really. That's what it's about. It's about spreading the love. I feel like that will help the culture. And like, you know, I think it will eliminate, when you give people credit, they don't have to brag. You get it?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're doing that by spreading the love and putting a thing together where you let artists come and show their performance, they show their support, their crowd comes out, they're selling merch, you know what I mean? It all encompasses the same thing where they get to showcase themselves, you know what I mean? And it's not, it's not like a showcase where you pay to go perform. You know what I mean? It's just the whole thing has to make sense. You know what I mean? So it's just putting together those events, really.
Word. Another question for you. You being in the industry and you being so involved, working with a whole bunch of different artists around the world, how do you think Jersey is seen by the industry and people who are not from here?
Honestly, I think Jersey, I feel like Jersey is seen, people know there's talent here, absolutely. They absolutely know that there's talent here, but at the same time, I feel like Jersey doesn't let itself get that exposure. Because, for example, right, let's say when Drake dropped the Jersey Club, Sticky, right? You know how sticky it gets, right? Automatically, oh, nah, this dude dropped, that's some Jersey shit, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it is some Jersey shit. And it's just kind of how you take it. Yeah, do I feel like the industry washes and does whatever to Jersey Club? Absolutely. And I don't think none of them are doing it correctly. That's just being honest. That's just because it's a Jersey thing, right? But what you need to do is remain that what I just said. You have to remain in that mindset. It's just a Jersey thing. You know what I mean? People are just liking what it sounds like. Like I know there's dudes here that make Atlanta influence beats. I know there's dudes here that make West Coast type beats. So if other dudes hear the Jersey sound and be like, oh, they're making like Jersey type beats, or they'll say Philly. But you know what I mean? You really need to get in tune with the history. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I took that time to understand the history of Jersey Club, where it came from, who were the pioneers, who were the people really driving that. And I got really familiar with that as I began to start making Jersey Club. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's a perfect segue, because that was actually kind of my next question. Can you talk to me then a little bit about the history of Jersey Club, how it originated, where it came from, and how you got involved into making even the theme song for this season.
That's tough. Yeah,
Which you guys heard in the beginning of this podcast.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now, like, I know general stuff, you know what I mean? And don't quote me if I'm wrong, but I'm going off of what I've heard, right? So I know that it originated, you know, there's always that the light feet stuff from Chicago, right? But it's a mixture of that and Baltimore, right? Baltimore had their Baltimore club.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything. Watch out for the percolator. Watch out. You know what I mean? So different things like that. And Jersey Club really comes from house music, like that old house music, like the old heads really like. And I don't say old heads in disrespect. I respect all my old heads, by the way.
OGs.
OGs, yeah, OGs. But it comes from club music, like house club music, and basically it made its way through Baltimore. And then like Philly around the same time, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe is a dude named DJ Tamil. He brung it over from Philly or Baltimore, I think one of the two. He came over to Jersey. He brought it to Newark, and he was a house DJ, like playing that house type of club music, and he started playing Jersey Club. And then that's when you start getting all the DJs that are encompassing Jersey Club. My mistake if I miss out any names, but you got DJ Little Man, you know what I mean? DJ Frosty, DJ J Hood, which I've worked with. I know there's a bunch of DJs that are involved now with Jersey Club, so it's too much to name. But one DJ in particular that I want to bring up because he is my gateway into Jersey Club, what kind of influenced me to start making Jersey Club, is DJ 809. You know what I mean? And I feel like him himself has done a lot for the culture. You know what I mean? You know, and that's the other thing too in Jersey. You don't always get the credit, but you can't let that deter you. You just got to keep working, doing the best you can. So DJ 809 is the reason I started making Jersey Club. You know what I mean? And it's a funny, but I'm gonna make a quick story of how I met him. I met him because we had a virtual beat battle during COVID.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like there was a DJ hosting a producer beat battle on Instagram Live, DJ Naeem, if I'm not mistaken,
Mm-hmm.
right? And literally, my opponent was DJ 809,
That's sick.
and I didn't know him at the time. So I did my research because that's what producers should do when you do a producer battle. He had a whole gang of people in the comments. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have that. Because I wasn't outside. I wasn't doing nothing like that crazy yet. And yeah, I went against him. I thought he was gonna do club. And he came out with regular beats, samples. So I played more clubbier type beats. Not Jersey Club, but like more like club bangers type of things. Yeah, I got smoked.
Damn.
But there's a flip side to that. Because those two beats that I did play, Fetty Wap rapped on them. So I, like, you know what I mean? It's a win-win. Like,
win's a win.
it's a win-to-win, right?
Sick.
From that loss, normally you take a loss, you're like, man, I'm tougher than that dude. Like, fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, it's nothing like that. Like, you know what I mean? You got to learn from your failures so you can get back up and be stronger, right? And that's the thing. Like with him, I didn't take that loss as like, oh damn, like I don't fuck with this dude. So now I'm gonna start. Let me work with him. Like yo, like. You know what I mean? It wasn't until we started really collabing. I did my project where I said from my dad, and he actually remixed the top streaming song on there, and they even streamed even more. You know what I mean? So like, see, like that is blessings in disguise, and you know what I mean? I'm forever grateful, and I give him his flowers. You know what I mean? My boy 809 really changed a lot of things for me too. Like, you know what I mean? So it gets deeper. It gets deeper than that, than just the start of the Jersey Club, because to be honest with you, I don't consider myself a Jersey Club producer, but I make Jersey Club because I'm from Jersey. I love Jersey, and I will always put Jersey on my shoulder. Like, you know what I mean? I always will represent, like, you know what I mean? No matter where I'm working.
Yeah, dude. It's a part of who we are.
Yeah.
It's a part of who we are. And I'll tell you what, dude. I don't know. I'm disgustingly in love with Jersey.
Yeah.
And everything about it.
Yeah.
The people that are in here. And the fact that I'm here with somebody who's also from Patterson, bro. And it's funny, dude. I was born in Patterson, and I moved to Little Falls pretty young in my life.
Yeah.
But there was always something special that always brought me back. And for how many people hate on Patterson and shit, bro, this is a beautiful fucking city.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful fucking city. I mean, we have
in its own way.
in its own way. In its own way. I'll tell you what, because Jersey in general, all right, we're called the armpit of America. But I'll tell you what, dude, there's something about this state that is so fucking beautiful and interesting, and we pump out so much talent. And I think that, you know, encompassing this whole conversation of just the history that we have, and not only the history, but when you talk about when hip hop started, it started in New York, Philly, New Jersey. And I forget exactly what New York was known for. I think New York was known for making the beats. I forget what Philly was known for. But the rappers and hip-hop artists from New Jersey were specifically known for making lyrics. Yeah. They were like the lyric freaking
The first ever rap group, Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah.
Hip, hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Gotta do your research, bro.
Hell yeah,
you know what I mean? So I've been to their mansion. I've cooked up in their mansion in Englewood.
Word?
Yeah. So
how was that like?
It was dope. It was actually Sylvia Robinson's family's house. If you didn't know, she was the manager for them, or something to do with their business side of things. And I was there with her grandson, which is Darnell Roy. He's been on MTV and stuff like that. So that was like, even in the midst of meeting Fetty Wap, I was also doing that. And that was pretty dope, man. I got to cook up with him, and it gave me a different aspect. I'm like, damn, I'm standing in history right now and making history at the same time. So it's like, that's a cool little experience.
Yeah,
man, moment.
Yeah, that is really freaking cool, actually. Yeah. So why don't we dive in to a little bit now the business of how everything works. I always tell everybody, you don't have to talk specific numbers if you don't want to. That's fine. But for the people who really want to get into this, I feel like people look at you and they'll be like, all right, what should I charge for my beats? How do I keep track of like the money I'm spending, the money I'm making, taxes and stuff like that? Like where do you start in all of this?
So I think too is more or less like, I feel like starting out musically, right? Especially as a producer, you want to get your name out there, right? You want to get your name out there, but you also don't want to get walked on. So it's like, you got to make sure that, one, you're working on your craft continuously and forming that together, right? So that you could charge what you want, because no one's going to pay for whack ass beats. That's just the truth, right? And even if your beat's hard, they still don't want to pay, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, people want the best bang for their buck, and that's what it is. Like, it's a competition at the end of the day. As much as it's supposed to be loving, music is love, art, and togetherness. You know what I mean? The business is competitive. You gotta in yourself internally feel the best to charge what you want, right? And you have to make a name for yourself first before you start charging what you want. Now, as far as how that works, you got to make sure that your paperwork is right. You know what I mean? Make sure you're registered to your proper organizations. You know what I mean? If you're trying to put out music, really researching, knowing what you need, the requirements, before you start just throwing music out, or like, let me drop this here, let me drop this with this artist. Understand that as a producer, you're entitled by entertainment law 50% of the writer's share, right? Publishing, it depends on the artist. If you're really cool with the artist, you grew up together, you're from the same city, y'all could work a deal out. And I'm talking about the introductory section of the business, right? You just got to make sure that the split sheets are signed, the producer agreements. You just got to make sure that all those ducks are in a row, right? But once you break that threshold, that now your name is ringing, your name is around, and you're getting in these rooms that are with very important people, you just got to make sure that, one, that is already squared, so you're not worried about the first steps, which is what you're registered to, who you know what I'm saying, who's managing all your stuff, like whatever. You don't need to get a manager from the start. You know what I mean? Once things start getting hectic and you can't manage, that's when you get a manager. Because at the end of the day, a manager works for you, right? So let's just say now. Let's say now. Let's put myself in now and not when I started, right? Let's say now. I would first consider the artist and see what their situation is. Are they signed? Are they not signed? Because that matters, right? Labels usually come with a budget, production budget for projects. If they're doing wide projects, they do many tracks, you may give them one price. If you do one track, that's a one-off, then, it might be one price. You know what I mean? It's going to be one price. You know what I mean? Versus you do a lot. Let's say, for example, hypothetically speaking, I'm charging $1,000 for one beat, right? And that's the only beat they're going to buy. Okay, that's my $1,000. I get my writers and whatever publishing their entity, if they're independent artists or if they're signed artists, then I'll get that. Whatever is their, what's it called? Whatever is their preference. But then if it's like, so let's say somebody from my hometown, right? They want to work with me, they hit me up, their vibe is dope, we click. Those are all prerequisites before the prices start flying, before what you want to do. Like, I do the consultation, get acclimated with the artist, what the artist wants. Because I'm not just going to throw beats at you, right? Because if I'm going to charge you for beats, I'm going to give you what you want. I'm not going to charge you beats. I'm not going to charge you for beats and give you a fucking generic pack. Like, that's just whack. Like, that's like going to Foot Locker and you showing up and you be like, I want some sneakers, and they give you some fucking Skechers, and but you got to pay the Jordan price. Like, what? Mm-hmm. Like, that's not what I wanted though. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's kind of having that storefront approach when you're working with more intimate independent artists versus the industry. Like, oh shit, I ended up in the studio with this person. So the business is very fluctuating, but you have to be smart enough to make the right business decisions to stay stable.
Word. So then when was it then that you got signed? Because now you're part of a label, right?
Yeah, I signed an exclusive production agreement with Shake the Block Music, which is ran by DJ Bobby Trents. You know what I mean? He's a Hot 97 DJ. I'm not part of Hot 97. I'm part of his coalition of DJs. You know what I mean? Which includes, many names that are more familiar in New York. But one of the biggest names, Funk Flex, is part of the family. DJ Bobby Trends himself. Like, you know what I mean? It's love all around. And it kind of opens up the family. Like, it's Jersey, and now, like, I have a little bit of New York that's ready to ride for me. You know what I mean?
Word.
So it's always a benefit to have that.
And so how did that come about? Like, how did you decide that this was the right decision for you to sign with them?
So honestly, like, I was already doing things, right? And I was already, like, hard charging, like I said. And I was working heavy with DJ 809, right? Very, very heavy. So, like, came a point where we were collabing a lot. You know what I mean? I was sending beats for placement over here. He was sending beats for placement over there. Like, we were just really working. Like, me and him really, really, really locked in. Like, 20 beats a week. Like, we were just killing it. And I think it came about that he had a meeting with them. You know what I mean? Because he DJs, and I think he's an amazing DJ at that. But he's also a really dope producer when it comes to the Jersey club and, like, just getting people moving in the club, right? They had set up a meeting, you know what I mean, for them to meet. So, well, let me rephrase that. They wanted to meet up with him to hear his production. So I went ahead and set up I set up the studio session for him. Because at that point, I took a year to learn the business. And then I took that second half of the year to meet the business owners, right? And get acclimated with the business owners. That's including studios, stores, merch shops, whatever. So I set up this, back to 809, I set up the studio session with one of my boys that owns a studio in Bloomfield. and Shake the Block came through. You know what I mean? They came through to check them out. And 809 was just there, and by very, very genuine, I guess, it just happened organically. I mean, he played a collab. I was there in the room, but I was quiet in the back. Like, I wasn't trying to talk or nothing like that. And he played a collab, and I was like, wait, that's him too? Like, oh, okay, word. So, you know what I mean? That from that point on, they was like, yo, let's all sit down and have a talk. You know what I mean? And you know, I wanna keep those details there. The rest is kind of like, for me, I want to keep it to myself. But I do want to say that sit down to explain what it felt like and what it meant to me is like what's important, right? In one of my previous podcasts, I did mention like taking leaps, taking risks, right? And that's one of the philosophies that you know Bobby Trans had, was that, you know, you got to take a risk. You know what I mean? Like at a certain point, you got to take a risk to grow. And it's just his I guess his poise to where he came from. It kind of drove me to like, okay, this dude believes that he wants to do something. Like he believes and he's done something. Like he is definitely a stamp, or he's a landmark in the music industry, especially radio and DJing. So I'm like, okay, all right. So I know my beats already. I already know my beats. I could get places with my beats. Now I'm gonna add a DJ to the mix. Not only that DJ, 19 other DJs, and at that genuinely connecting with them, and like it's unlimited connections. Now I don't have to network as hard. Let me go to this pop up. I could just show up to a club that a DJ is on my team, and just chill there. You know what I mean? And organically, I'm gonna run into artists. I'm gonna run into celebrities. It doesn't matter, influencers. It just naturally happens. So I saw that in the grand scheme of things. I saw that at a bigger picture, and that's what made my decision very easy. You know what I mean? It's just at the end of the day, the business part of it had to make sense.
Of course. Very interesting, dude. Because I think you're the first person I've talked to who's been a part of almost like a coalition like that. And I don't think you hear about that often. I also think it's very like, you know, it's a big deal. It's a big opportunity and big deal. So congratulations to you for doing that and signing into that, dude. Because I can only see great things coming from that. That's really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So how does this all encompass with the studio that you're at?
So actually, even though I signed, it has nothing to do with the studio. I formed my company before I signed, and I created my studio. Although I run operations out of my studio for the label, it's still like my studio at the end of the day. And that's just certain things that you do. Like, it's not like a shiesty move. Like, oh, like let me build a studio. But I already wanted to make a studio, so like I made a studio, and I was just I know that I had a sit down coming through. I knew I had to sit down, and I was gonna have a meeting with them. So I didn't care about that until it got there, to that day. But everything else, I'm still gonna grind for myself. So I opened up my LLC. You know what I mean? Established all those business accounts, and I started building my studio. You know what I mean? I started building up my studio. You know what I mean? Because my studio is currently located in Elizabeth. And you know what I mean? For the people that do make the trip out, the people that do come and, you know, work with me, it's super dope. You know what I mean? It's super dope. But yeah, so the studio itself, it's independent from the label signing. Like, you know what I mean? They don't have to do nothing with each other, but they have all to do with the work that happens.
Of course. And did you want to shout out your studio at all, or is it more of just like a private booking through your Instagram type deal?
Nah, so I'll plug my studio. You know, High Voltage Studios. I'm down in Elizabethport, part of the Clearport, you know what I mean, group that we're in a whole complex. You know what I mean? I got Mixed by Chameleon there, big flowers to him, big Jersey City vibes. You know what I mean? I have, like, he has, you know what I mean? I could go on about, you know, what he's done. it's super special that, you know what I mean, he's given me the opportunity to host my creative space in his sort of warehouse thing. So flowers to him, big love to him. That's, you know what I mean, that's family. And then I have Clutch Beats. Clutch Beats, that dude has become even closer to me. And it's crazy because we go back to 809. And the main reason why I know about that studio is because 809 paired me with Clutch. You know what I mean? I went and collabed with Clutch, and then I saw the studio, and then I saw that Chameleon posted the studio, and I went and rented it. You know what I mean? So it's like one thing at least to the next. So big love to Clutch. That's my brother. Like we've been in the studio making beats. We'll stop making beats and just start talking and like just sharing life experiences, be there till 8 in the morning. Like, you know what I mean? It's just a dope connection, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, that's the things, man, when I go into the studio. So High Voltage Studios, HVS Studios NJ on Instagram. You know what I mean? You can hit me up through there. You can hit me up directly. I prefer the studio page because I can kind of organize better. But like I have different options. I feel like more than other studios that can, you know what I mean, that can actually benefit you. If you're a producer, some producers just want to come cook up. Maybe there's a producer just starting out and they want to learn. Well, I make that service available. There's artists that just want to come and record their time with their beats, whatever beats they have. There's artists that want to come and make a song together. So all those things are available, you know what I mean? And it's a question, it's asking, you know what I mean? And those things become easy once you open that line of communication.
We're coming pretty close to the end of the podcast, at least this part.
Yeah.
I'm going to open up the floor to you real quick before we get into the last segment of this part. Is there anything else that you wanted to share, get into depth to, anything at all that you feel like you didn't get the chance to really shine a light on or speak about? Now would be the time to open that floor up to you.
Okay, word. One of the things that I wanted to like really shine on, I mean, and it's on it's part of the upbringings. It what ties everything together. Like me and Benji's have been best friends, brothers since we were 9 years old. You know what I mean? And we've actually where we're taking this podcast right now. We've took a photo shoot here, like right there, like right there. And we met in a funny way too. You know what I mean? We fought. You know what I mean? I was there to throw orange at him. Mm-hmm. I hit him, and he just went crazy. Like, you know what I mean? He attacked me. That's when the parents get to school and things start acting crazy, right? But from that moment on, we made up, became friends, and like it just never ended. Like, you know what I mean? I'll go over his house. Like we'll be playing Xbox, playing the games. Like we're over here like listening to the soundtracks on the game, and then like we'll pull up beats on YouTube. This is when we were like kids. You know what I mean? Like what people do now, we did it as kids. And like it was just always funny. Like the music was always there lingering, but never really became a thing till we was adults. And you know what I mean? Like I know that his style or the type of person he is, he has to warm up with you. I want to take this time to give him the biggest shout out because without him being part of, you know, me since I've been 9 years old till now, like, of course, there's times I push him. There's times that he pushes me without him even knowing. I want to give him his flowers, and I want to shout him out because, you know what I mean? Theoretically, he made this shit all possible. You know what I mean? Like, he started, you know, when you put a seed in the soil, you water it, and no matter if you walk away, you come back in 20 years as a tree. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta appreciate the people that do things for you, even if it's like they're just trying to do it, and they're not looking for anything in return. You know what I mean? So like, there's never of like, yo, but I got you to start this. That's never come out his mouth, and like I would never say like, oh, like, but I did this on my own. Like, no, I give people credit where it's due. And I feel like he's a big part, along with 809, and along with everyone that's given me an opportunity to work with them and also, you know, open up their world to me. Absolutely. There's also other things, too, that's happened more recently.
Okay.
That even shifted the levels up higher. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure if you wanted to talk about that last, or you wanted me to bring it up now?
Let's bring it up now.
Okay. So I did express that in 2021, I really focused on my paperwork and business and figuring out how to get that squared away, right? 2022, I got acclimated with the business. The paperwork, the business, and then I got acclimated with the owners, right? With the owners of studios, understanding how the business works. So now is learning the business 1 year, learning how the business works the next year, and now it's run the business, right? Now all my friends went from being engineers and other producers to studio owners. You know what I mean? I'm cool with engineers still. I'm cool with DJs or whatnot, or other producers. But now it's like I'm a studio owner. So I need to have studio owner friends. Like I need to have a reference point, right? So like the thing is, it's hilarious because last year was like, okay, now I'm gonna start doing this, right? Mm-hmm. And halfway through the year, it's all about doing certain things that even when you necessarily don't want to do that, like you want to be a producer, you want to make the beat, you want to be the guy that, yeah, like that. I made the club shake. Like I want that. I put that together. Like you feel very proud of that, right? And I actually took up on an opportunity offered by an engineer. He's not from Patterson or anything like that, but he's from Jersey. It's another guy in the shadows. And he opened up an opportunity that actually argumentatively changed my course of music. Even after the signing, even after, the Fetty Wap and all that. This guy name is Mixed by Auden. You know what I mean? He has a plethora of artists that he does work with. There's certain artists that work with me that I've gotten them to convert over and work with him for the vocal side. You know what I mean? He's an amazing audio engineer as well. But he began the building blocks. He allowed it for me to take the risk and take the opportunity that he presented to me. And I took it. Now, the thing was that I didn't expect anything crazy from it, but I just took the chance. And when I took the chance on my second mix that I submitted in, because what it was is me mixing, arranging instrumentals for artists that are from different places, like Atlanta, Florida. But I didn't know that certain people's eyes were on it. Mm-hmm. So when I sent that mix in, it sent a very nice introduction to myself, and I received a FaceTime call. Now, who I received that FaceTime call from is the special part. It's a producer that from when I first started, you know what I mean, I've looked up to and really appreciated how they carry themselves musically, how they treat their family, like their kids, and stuff like that. So, London on the Track FaceTimes me.
That's sick.
On a Sunday, when my son in diapers, I'm giving him French toast, and like I remember I get, London want to speak to you. I'm like, oh, word, call me. FaceTime, boom. All he said was, 5 p.m. I'm gonna send you the address. So, oh shit, word, all right, bet, boom. Right after I got off that phone, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what in the world just fucking happened right now? Then the dude that I look up to, because there's a couple producers I look up to, but he's one of the ones for me. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I'm like, I got on the phone. I called my son's mother. I don't give a fuck what you're doing. Get the fuck home. It happened. I was like, it happened. She's like, what? Like, she started freaking out. What you mean? What happened? Da, da, da. And I'm like, it happened. You know what I mean? You need to get here. You need to, because I was watching my son at the time. It was my day to watch my son and take a break from music. So then she comes to get some, and I get there. So I get to the studio in New York City. I get to the studio, and I literally, I know what I'm there for. I know I'm not there to, show my beats, but I know I'm there to help, right, in some way or fashion. So I walk in, and London has his laptop open. I'm there with London and his producer, Tone Def, which is another of my boys. He's out in Atlanta. I work with him a lot too. Big love to them. You know what I mean? Shout out to June too. But basically, he pulled up the first project. He's like, we're going to work on this. You know what I mean? I bet. He hits play and it's fucking Meek Mill and St. John. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, we started here. Okay. So, you know what I mean? I start doing my thing, arranging, mixing, and I move on to the next track. That day, I think I ended up doing like 6 or 7 tracks, but all industry people. So, you know what I mean? I could give you the names. Lil Uzi, 8 Boogie, St. John, a couple Meek Mill records. You know what I mean? But the most special thing that happened there, and it kind of brings an end to that story, but the story is still going currently, right? I was doing one of the Meek Mill records. Had my head down at London's laptop, and I'm like working. And I hear London leaves the room for a moment, and I hear the door creak open. And literally, I think it's London, right? So I'm not expecting anything big. I'm not expecting anybody else. So I'm like, okay, it's London. Like, but when I look up, I see like shorts. I'm like, yo, who the fuck? I mean, I know it's July, but like, who walking in the studio with these shorts, like, and like a button shirt, like some golf shirt? And when I look up, I kind of freeze for a moment. The music is still playing, so you can't tell that I freeze. But I look and I'm like, oh, holy fuck, it's DJ Khaled. Oh, just walked into the fucking studio. Like, let me continue what I'm doing. And then to make things even worse, he looks at me. He's like, "It's you? That shit hard." You know how he talks. Mm-hmm. So, like, I'm like, in my head, I did that laugh right there, like, in my head. But I just kept working. And then everybody started walking in. London came back in, and they're working because this was in the same time that London was working with Uzi on the Barter 16 and things like that. So I have some parts in that too. Then Uzi walks in. I'm like, okay, it's a party now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's in here. Uzi's producers come in there. You know what I mean? I think it's like Brandon Finessin and Ike Beats. You know what I mean? Big shout out to those guys too. And his engineer too came in there. And, man, Ben, you know what I mean? He showed love too. You know what I mean? But in that whole sense, the craziest thing is, right, I got to see that industry grade experience. Right? And for them, it's regular stuff. I know at a certain point for me, it's regular stuff, but it's just amazing to see, especially for the first time at that capacity. So many stars in one room, right? So, like, I would say the craziest or the most key moment of that is one that I got to speak to London, and I told him that I appreciate the producer he is, I respect his work, and I admire how he is with his kids, right? I got to say that to him. And with Khaled, I had a conversation with him as well. And lo and behold, there's something that's related to what I just did. Now that I'm meeting him, it's full circle moment. I tell him, I'm like, and I say to him, this is me quoting myself, right? I was like, hey, I was like, yo, Khaled, we're more family than you think. Imagine meeting DJ Khaled and you say that shit to him. Like, he's like, how so? Like, he like mad, like, what you mean? Like, you know what I mean? So, obviously, his energy online and versus in person is the same thing. There's no act. Like, that's really him. So, he's like, how so? And I was like, I one of Bobby's guys. I'm a Shake. Little backstory. Bobby Trends is signed to We The Best. So, they know each other. They're great friends. So I took that as a full circle moment that London didn't even know that I had that connection to Khaled. And Khaled, I didn't know Khaled was showing up. Mm-hmm. So it was a full circle moment. And I just feel like that all together tied in beautifully. So, like, recently I went to Miami and I was able to see Khaled, like, talk to him on the phone because I was supposed to go to his house. But those are all things in the works. You know what I mean? It's all things in the works, and I never lose patience because I know music is a process, and in order to get the best results, you must take the time to perfect it. You know what I mean? So I wanted to share that experience because everybody got the picture and the captions, you know what I mean, and the video. But, you know what I mean, it was a beautiful, beautiful experience. I got to experience some of his album that's going to come out soon, you know what I mean, and I'm going to be big supporting on that. One of the songs that are out that I could talk about is the Supposed to Be Love with Lil Baby and Future. And Uzi, I witnessed Uzi lay that verse, you know what I mean? And it's not only that, he posted me. DJ Khaled posted me on his page without even knowing me like that, but he posted me, and like it's just beautiful that moment can be something I can always remember. Like it's in history now. Like, you know what I mean, it's stamped, and that's it. Like that right there sent the people that knew me, that supported me in Patterson, it sent them into a frenzy. And it's like I don't indulge in that. I don't indulge in the like everybody like, oh bro, like yeah, bro, yeah, like yeah, like I love that. I love the love, absolutely, you know, and blessings to everybody that supports me. But in all, like I really just appreciate that people are recognizing my work, people are appreciating my work. You know what I mean? That's what I want. I don't want to be like, if people boast about me, that's fine too, right? But you're not gonna sit here and me saying, yo, I'm the best producer in Jersey, like hands down. Like I don't need to hear from nobody else. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not on that type of wave. I just do what I do, man. You know what I mean? I do what I do, and I try to be the best I can be. You know what I mean? If that's not the best for you, then it's not the best for you. Kick rocks, like, you know what I mean? Kick rocks. I'm good. Like I know my worth. I know what I've built, and I know what I've seen and where I've been. So it's like, after all those experiences is what gives me the confidence I'm in now. And confidence, I use it a different. It's not confidence to be cocky. It's confidence to know that you're able to do what you're trying to do. You know what I mean? You're able to do. You're not unsure. Like, I know what I want. I know where I want to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I know what I want to do. And that absolute mindset is what sets you in the right direction. You keep that strong, there's no distractions.
That was a lot. Holy shit. I just had to fucking keep my mouth shut, bro. I was like, fuck, I want to ask so many things right now. This is crazy.
Now you can ask them, man. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, dude. I think that there's going to be another podcast somewhere in the future.
Yeah,
somewhere
absolutely,
in the future,
absolutely.
where we can really get to dive into everything in that. I think the story how it is and the things will leave the audience wanting more, because I'm very sure after them hearing how you are and your upbringing and everything is dope. I'm gonna leave it there. I think that story was perfect.
Yeah.
I have a second to last part of this podcast.
Okay.
Before we get into the last part, let me see how much battery we have here real quick. We have 17. We're good. We're Gucci. All right. I'm gonna run these at you real quick.
Okay.
I want to get your reactions from it.
Okay. Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm answering fast, right? Like short, quick.
So, as short as possible, but if you want to elaborate on it a little bit, you can.
I bet.
First one. What's your relation to the Dean Club in New York City?
The Dean is like, it's literally where Bobby ran, where he ran his Tuesday detention. He opened the door for a lot of new artists to get that exposure, to bring the crowd, and you know what I mean? It's literally where I met Bobby. You know what I mean? DJ 809 brought me there. And the Dean is that, man. Like it's the place where he hosted his Tuesday detention. You know what I mean? The biggest party on Tuesdays in downtown Manhattan. Like, you know what I mean? We had that shit jumping. Like, and you know what I mean? Like this year we're kind of backing away from it, but we coming back. Like we definitely coming back with it. And I put on heavy for my team. You know what I mean?
So like every other New Jerseyan, we like to go to, when we go out to eat. I've heard that you grew up eating a lot of Applebee's, a lot of IHOP. Can you explain to me what happened at an IHOP during your most recent birthday?
Oh my God. He on it. So, man, listen. My birthday this past year, 2023, was special. And when I say special, like you felt. Can you imagine feeling 200 different emotions in a span of 24 hours? My birthday, fun fact, was the day of the orange fog. But that day, I got so fucking wasted. Like a college kid, underage college kid, doesn't know how to drink. Like, I really went there because, like, I did so much that year. And this was actually before the Cali stuff. Mm-hmm. I did so much that year, and I wanted to really have a good time. So what happened in the IHOP was I was trying to keep my composure, but I didn't remember who I was. So I turned into a fucking sprinkler system in the bathroom, and I threw up everywhere twice, to the point where I burned my shirt, and I came out, and my friends were fucking crying, by the way. Because I came out with my black tank top, my undershirt, and I looked like Big Show. Like, that's how, like, this nigga looked like Big Show. He came out the bathroom. Ew. You know what I mean? So they always make that joke. But yeah, it was definitely a special night to remember.
Word. All right. Can you tell me? Can you tell me what's your relationship to the word Igor?
Oh shit. He went there. No. All right, so it's funny because I'm actually piggyback something onto that. But the relation to the word Igor, when I moved from the part of Patterson where I met Benji's and I went to School 21, because you know what I mean, shout out to the schools I've been to, School 28, School 21, New Roberto Clemente. When I went to New Roberto Clemente and I lived off Park Ave, there was a dude named Geraldo, and he does like real estate now, I think. He has business ventures and stuff like that, so blessings to that, you know, flowers to him. But they didn't, like, I was a very, like, active kid in class. Like, I just wanted to be cool, like, with everybody. Like, I'm a new kid in school, 7th, 8th grade. Everybody's kind of focusing, like, I'm about to go to high school. But, like, so I'm, like, a new kid, so I got to kind of, like, fit in, right? When you're a kid, who doesn't want to fit in? The shit is that they try to find the name for me. Like, everybody got a name, right? So they started calling me Eeyore or Igor, right? And it's because I have a big back or big shoulders, right?
Okay.
Right? Okay, cool. And it's funny, like, because I was like, fuck it. I embraced it. Like, I don't care. Like, even in through high school, like, to my first 3 years, they were really on the Igor shit. Like, okay, cool. The name, do I like it? No. Fuck no. I don't like the name. But it's like un cariño. In Spanish, cariño means, like, it's like a form of love. If people address me as that they're taking the time to actually be like, yo, that's his name. Like, you know what I mean? Whether they want to make fun of me or not, who's laughing now? You know what I mean? I'm no longer Igor. I'm fucking ManMade.
Hell yeah.
So the thing is, like, it's really how you take it. So Igor is that name, and it's actually fucking hilarious and comical that you said that, because when I went with Bobby on a ride along to his gigs in New York, he was like, yo, you really do look like a bodyguard. He's like, I'm gonna call you my bodyguard, Big Back. I'm like, fuck. It doesn't leave the fucking, like, everything comes back around. Like, it's not Igor for fucking Big Back. Like, imagine you have a security guard called Big Back. Yo, it's your boy Big Back. I'm here to fuck shit up. They fuck with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
So it's different. Like, but it's funny that shit it spent the block on me. Like, I'm like, all right, word.
Hell yeah, bro.
I gotta take it for its run. Like, it's me. You know what I mean? You have to accept yourself at the end of the day. People want to have whatever name they want to call you. So that's what's, you know what I mean? Let them be them.
I feel you.
You be you.
All right.
Uh-oh. He about to go crazy. Go ahead.
Can you talk to me why you say kunyets?
Kunyets. So, kunyets, like, it's like saying coño, but like, Cognacs. Like, there's a lot of words that I say, right? A lot of words that I say, besides the music, that I'm a real person too. Like, I did all this stuff and I seen all this stuff, been in these rooms, but I'm a real person. So I have my own humor. Like, I got words that I say that makes no sense to you, but I say them. Like, Hanna. I say Hanna. They don't know what the fuck that is. Cognacs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that shit. Like, that's some shit that me and my friends say and how we communicate and what makes us more family, because no one else talks like that. Like, I call my best friend, my brother Benji's, the first thing there's not good morning, it's not good afternoon, how you doing, is you ugly nigga. That's the first thing we say. What's up, ugly ass nigga? It's the first thing. Like, it's the first thing. Like, it's like, but that's a form of love. Just like the Igor thing. It's a form of love. So you got to take it that way. You know what I mean? And we're so used to it that if, like, we're not calling each other the B word or the P word, pussy, right? Mm-hmm. Or like ugly ass nigga, mm-hmm. We're not acting regular. You know what I mean? We're not acting regular. Like, what's good with you, bro? Like, can't take a joke today? Mm-hmm. Like, we ripping each other constantly. You know what I mean? Benji told me I got big ass pony teeth. I'd say he got a 10-gallon ass hat. Head ass nigga. Like, head ass. Like, you know what I mean? So we be ripping each other all day long. But it's like we was even roasting. Yo, rest in peace to moms, yo. Vanessa, right? My boy KB, Smoke Bomb's been on your podcast before. That's his mom. You know what I mean? She's a big mother figure to me. We were at her memorial service after she passed away. You know, God bless her soul. Rest in peace. We was roasting. At the dinner, we roasting. We wrote, like, it was, there was no breaks. You know what I mean? Like, same thing with Benji's. Like, Benji's, this is not even about roasting, but seeing your friend in those vulnerable positions, right? I went to his grandmother's funeral, right? God rest his soul. Nana, right? The dude couldn't help himself musically. And this is what I was going to tell you in the beginning, that it was like kind of comical, but it's like morbid at the same time. His grandma, we're at her wake, right? And like I said, much respect to the family and everything. They start playing the guitar. And I'm sitting across the room. I'm looking at Benji's. And this guy is popping his fucking head at a funeral. And I'm talking about making a beat in his head. Like, I'm not talking about, like, because you crying at a funeral. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's when I was like, damn. I know this dude loves his grandmother, but he fucking loves music. Because he's fucking bopping his head at the funeral. Like, he's not crying. Like, I know he's sad, but, like, he's like, damn, this nigga killing the guitar. Like, I'm like, yo. It's like, cool. Like, it's crazy that happened, but, like, you know, we as friends were able to come around him at the end of all that and give him the support. But then, like, actually laugh about that. Like, bro, you was in your music mode, bro. Like, that's crazy. Like, you was in your music mode there. And it always happens. Like, you know what I mean? Right after my dad's memorial, I went straight to the studio with his urn. My dad got cremated. I went with his urn to the studio. No, I didn't try to go home. No, we going to the studio, Dad. We out, my boy. Like, you know what I mean? That's how I talk to my son, my boy. My boy. Let's go, my boy. We out. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
Dude, I want to thank you so much. We're going to end this part of the podcast right here.
Okay.
And we're going to just do our little ending over here. And yeah, let's get to it, man.
For sure. Let's do it.
So we're here at the end of the podcast. I want to thank you so much for coming on, taking the time. It's been an absolute pleasure and honor. Thank you for blessing the podcast with your presence.
Appreciate it.
I got a couple more questions for you, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's cool. For sure.
So my first question is, we've touched on this before, but I just want you to reiterate, what inspires you to do what you do every day?
Man, what really inspires me, you know what I mean, like I said before, is, you know, having that kid, you know what I mean, that can't go hungry, you know what I mean, and having the examples in my life that really pushed me to who I am today, you know what I mean, whether it's a Benji, it's an 809, you know what I mean, it's an Alden, you know what I mean, it's even meeting new people and, you know, they're getting closer and warmer to me, You know what I mean? My dad being a huge influence on my personality and how I treat people, that respect, it's a big drive. It keeps me motivated to keep going forward, for sure.
What advice do you have for people who dream and aspire to do what you do?
Man, I think if you want to really take up and you really have a dream and a passion for this, like, you got to be willing to give things up, you know what I mean? Give up going to the club, giving up getting lit, like, you know what I mean? The fun will come eventually, but you have to really put your head down and get to work, don't sleep, like, because when you sleeping, people working, you know what I mean? And music is a game of not stopping, you know what I mean? And being current and being, you know what I mean, on time and always executing. I mean, execution is key. So, I mean, the more to those people that want to do this, that want to push to do this, anybody could do it. You just gotta want to do it. And then once you want to do it, you gotta make it happen.
What are the most beautiful things about Patterson?
Man, I think what's beautiful that anywhere you go, that you've been in your life, throughout your life, whether you have family there or people you know, you just have so many memories, and it's such a diverse place, like I said before, that if I want to go get Jamaican food, I know where to go. And it's not like a New York thing where I gotta go 10 blocks or, you know, whatever, like I gotta really search. Like here, I know everything, like, you know what I mean? Like, naming streets, that's Main Street. You know what I mean? That's West Broadway down there. Like, that section is this section. Like, you know what I mean? And like, the choices you make here really make who you are. And that's the beautiful thing. Patterson gives you that option and gives you that choice. You know what I mean? You can get out of here. I really go off of what things make me up, right? And Patterson is one of them. Yeah, man. It's beautiful stuff out here, man. So many memories, just looking at places. So many memories.
ManMade, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast, dude. Holy shit. It's been a journey, man.
Absolutely.
It's been dope. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for making the song for this season's podcast. Blew me out of the water, to be honest. Blew me out of the water. I'm not just saying that because I'm having you on or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I listened to that and I was like, number one, this is exactly what I was looking for. I feel like I could hear it now that I got to know you. Yeah. I feel like I could hear your personality in that beat too. You know, it's funny because it was like you took it seriously and the beat is hard, but it's also like funny as hell.
I'm chilling. Chill.
Yeah, it's definitely. I make music a journey. Whether you're an artist, whether you're a creator, my job as a producer is to make your vision a reality. I take that very seriously. Sure.
ManMade, now's the time to let the people know where they can find you, any shout outs, anything at all that's on your mind. Now's the time to say it.
You know, man, your boy ManMade, Silk City Baby. Any functions, y'all want me to pop out too. You know what I mean? I'm there. You know what I mean? I'm the guy that pops out and pulls up. Feel me? So, where to find me? My studio, HVS Studios NJ. You know what I mean? The team, Shake the Block, Big Shake shit, where you gonna shake the world. You know what I mean? That's my team. You know what I mean? Now, and I'ma just keep carrying, and I'ma keep working. I'ma stay hungry, stay motivated. That's it.
Let's get out of here, bro.
Yo, facts. Yo, for sure. Fucking hate heights, dog.
My bad, bro.
Oh, shit. Oh, man, that was great, dude. Fuck
yes,
yeah.
Sir.